They called me a burden in front of neighbors, in front of staff, even in front of my own mother. I gave up everything to come home, but they erased me like I never existed. It started with a mop. Not a fight, not a family meeting, just a mop. Rebecca tossed it at me across the Ellis Bistro kitchen. "You're just playing soldier," she sneered the way only an older sister can. "You couldn't even run a register, let alone a mission." I'd come home from active duty to care for our mother after her stroke. No parade, no thank you for your service. Just 12-hour shifts in a restaurant kitchen. I didn't belong in paying rent like a stranger in the house I grew up in. But I stayed. I folded towels, cleaned floors, cooked her meals. I believed, maybe foolishly, that this was how families held together, that showing up counted more than being seen. The first real fracture came on a quiet Sunday night. I had just pitched a security upgrade for Ellis Bistro, a system I'd spent weeks developing to prevent internal data leaks and protect customer info. Rebecca laughed halfway through my pitch. "This isn't the CIA, Lydia. We serve FKN salmon." Mom didn't say a word. She just sipped her chamomile tea like I was background noise. That night, I logged into our shared family account. $4,200, everything I'd saved from off-duty contract work gone. Withdrawn in full. The name on the transaction, Harold Ellis, my father. I didn't yell. I didn't slam a door. I just sat there staring at the screen, my hands shaking too hard to type. I tried to ask them about it the next day. Nobody answered. By sunset, I got a text from Rebecca. "Just one sentence, you're no longer part of this family. Don't come back." I stood outside our childhood house that night, porch lights off, curtains drawn. My key didn't work anymore, and behind Mom's upstairs window, a curtain moved. But no one came to open it. The next morning I tried calling Mom. Disconnected. Dad straight to voicemail. The silence wasn't just loud, it was strategic, deliberate, like I had become invisible overnight. I stood outside that white-fenced craftsman house with numb fingers and an ache behind my eyes I hadn't felt since basic. Not from grief, from betrayal. Inside, I knew my room still had the boot scuffs I left by the closet. The map I hand-drew at 15 still curled on the wall, but I wasn't welcome there anymore. Rebecca had taken over the restaurant, her empire now, and Mom. She became the echo chamber that justified everything. It wasn't always like this. Growing up, Rebecca was the golden daughter ballet recitals, vanilla perfume, praise from every neighbor within 5 miles. I was the garage kid, Grandpa Walter's shadow, grease-stained, elbow-deep in tactical ciphers and World War II maps. He once handed me a small metal USB, told me, "This is a key, Lydia. One day it'll save you." I thought it was metaphor. Mom called it fantasy. Rebecca whispered, "He's losing it." Years passed. At 15, I won the national JROTC tactical competition. No one came. At 17, I applied to West Point. Mom caught the acceptance letter, threw it on the kitchen table. "Ellis blood doesn't go to war," she said. "We build restaurants. We stay safe." So I stayed quiet. Enrolled at University of Oregon under business admin on paper. Behind the scenes, cyber warfare encryption systems, surveillance analytics. I worked nights at a defense tech startup. No one in the family noticed or cared. That's when I built the first version of Sigma Recon, a program that analyzed signal anomalies in real-time footage. What started as traffic optimization quickly evolved into threat detection. I sent it to Mike, former ROTC buddy turned special ops. His reply, "This is gold. Who the hell are you really working for?" I didn't answer. Because even back then, I was already preparing to leave Ellis Bistro behind. I came back because of Mom. Her stroke hit while I was on base in Nevada, prepping for a training op. One call, and I dropped everything. Caught the next flight to Portland, filed for 3 months of emergency leave. I told myself I'd only stay long enough to help her recover. 3 months became 6. Rebecca greeted me with a chore list and a rental breakdown. "There's a 10 p.m. curfew," she said, not looking up from her tablet. "And you'll cover $700 a month for bills. You're not a kid freeloading anymore. No welcome, no warmth, just rules." I swallowed it. By day, I scrubbed dishes, reconciled invoices, mopped floors, restocked shelves when delivery was late. Rebecca called it helping out, but she never put me on payroll. By night, I returned to what mattered. After they slept, I slid my encrypted laptop out from the hidden drawer in my desk, logged into my custom network. My team, Sarah, Ethan, Mike, Tara, linked in from 4 corners of the country. We were tracking chatter about a potential bioterror threat, a cyanotoxin release targeting Portland's water grid, Sigma Recon. The system I created was flagging anomalies the government hadn't even seen yet. It was working. Then one night, Rebecca crossed the line. I came back late from a secure strategy session, a dive cafe downtown with a hidden surveillance setup. The moment I opened the front door, I knew something was off. Rebecca stood in the kitchen. In her hand, Grandpa's USB. She held it up like bait. "What is this?" she asked. "Your little black box of imaginary victories." I snatched it. Her fingers grazed mine, cold, smug. "You have no idea what this is?" I hissed. She smirked. "I know it's not a tax document, and I know you're hiding something." That night, I didn't sleep. I unlocked the USB and searched through every encrypted file. Buried in a folder labeled Ellis Holdings. Financials, I found it. A series of withdrawals from something called the Bennett Legacy Trust. The beneficiary, Lydia Bennett. Me. But $180,000 had already been drained. Over the past 12 months, the authorizing IP address Ellis Bistro's back office. The digital signature Harold Ellis. My father. He hadn't said a word. Neither had Mom. Rebecca. She had to know. But I wasn't going to confront them yet. I had a bigger move in mind. I planned my next step carefully. The bistro was hosting its quarterly staff meeting, usually a dull mix of vendor updates and fake cheer. But this time, I requested to present. I dressed in the only blazer I owned, the same one I wore to mission debriefs overseas. My laptop loaded with clean visuals, no jargon, just impact. I walked into the boardroom and faced them. Rebecca sat at the head of the table, legs crossed, arms folded. Mom sipped decaf beside her. Dad hovered near the wall, silent as always. I laid out my pitch, a custom cybersecurity system powered by Sigma Recon. It would safeguard customer data, block financial theft, detect employee time fraud in real time. Tailored, tested, bulletproof. Midway through, Rebecca burst out laughing. "This isn't the CIA, Lydia. We serve FKN salmon, not state secrets." I stood there holding my breath. "It's not about the food," I said. "It's about protecting what you built." She leaned back, amused. "Funny," she said. "You didn't seem to care about protection when you were sneaking around with strangers." She dropped a folder on the table. Inside were grainy photos. Me, entering the cafe, exiting through the alley, hugging Sarah in uniform. "What is this?" I asked. "Proof," she said, "that you've been lying." "You're not a consultant. You're planning something. Is she your militia?" I froze. Mom said softly, "We had a right to know." Then Dad, finally speaking, "If you want to live outside the law, that's your choice. Just don't bring chaos into this house." Chaos. I'd scrubbed their floors, folded their laundry, and simultaneously stopped a bio-attack they'd never even heard about. I turned to Rebecca, voice steady. "You resent me not because I failed, but because I didn't fail the way you expected." Then I left. That night, I stared into the mirror of my childhood room. Old cracks, streaked dust, a reflection I barely recognized. And then I smashed it. Glass shattered across the floor, 6 fractured reflections of me. None of them looked broken, not anymore. The reckoning was near. But what I didn't know was that the world had been watching. At dawn, I packed what mattered: uniforms, encrypted drives, Grandpa's USB. I left the rest behind. Before I shut the door, I sent one email. Subject: resignation to Rebecca, Mom, Dad, the bistro's executive team. Polite, formal, unapologetic. I didn't need them to know I was bleeding. I needed them to know I was gone. But as I reached the porch, Rebecca stood waiting, arms crossed, smug grin in place. She handed me a cream envelope, inside a final bank statement. The Bennett Legacy Trust was empty. A handwritten note was tucked in. "You have nothing that belongs to this family. Take the rest of your life and try to make it mean something." No signature, just silence. I stared at her, searching for the girl I once shared bunk beds with, but all I saw was someone who'd never wanted to see me win. I left without another word. That night, in a cheap motel under the Burnside Bridge, I finally opened Grandpa's fail-safe drive, typed in the code Walter394. A black screen blinked once, then a video loaded. Grandpa, older, thinner, but his eyes still steel. "This fund is not for the restaurant, not for legacy or fame. It's for you, Lydia, because I saw what they refused to see." He paused. "If they ever take this from you, know this, it was always yours, and if they took it, they will pay." Before I could breathe, my phone rang. Blocked number. "This is Captain Bennett," I answered automatically. A pause, then a voice. "Captain Bennett? This is James Carter, CIA." I froze. He continued. "The Sigma recon system you built, it just intercepted a sequence tied to a planned cyanotoxin release. Your team executed flawless containment. You stopped a mass casualty event, Lydia." My hands trembled. Then he added, calm, quiet. "We know what your family did. The theft, the betrayal. You didn't retaliate. You just kept working. That's what caught our attention." For the first time in years, I cried. Not because I was broken, but because someone saw me. The real me. And what came next would change everything. 1 week later, I walked into a mirrored glass office tower in downtown Portland. My uniform pressed, my rank displayed, my name no longer a secret, Captain Lydia Bennett. Inside the conference room sat my parents, Rebecca, and across from them, Margaret Lee, our estate attorney, and James Carter, live via satellite from Langley. Margaret slid in a USB and began digital confirmation of asset authorship. The screen lit up. Sigma Recon. Code lines, metadata cryptographic hash. Author Lydia Bennett. CIA verification. Presidential citation pending. Then came a second video, Grandpa again. This time recorded years earlier. If they're watching this, they've forgotten who built the gate to this house. Lydia, you are the legacy, not the restaurant, not the name. You are the gatekeeper. No one moved. Rebecca's face paled. Mom reached for her sunglasses. Dad stayed silent. Then Nathan Brooks, my cousin, walked in. He handed Margaret a folder. "Independent forensic analysis of the trust fund withdrawal," he said. Margaret opened it. The signature used to empty Lydia's funds was forged, power of attorney falsified, by Harold Ellis. The room broke open like a fault line. Rebecca gasped. Mom finally whispered, "We never knew." I stood slowly. "You never asked." Then the screen shifted again, live feed from CIA HQ. James spoke clearly. "Captain Bennett is being considered for the National Defense Medal of Honor. She will also lead a classified cybersecurity initiative moving forward." The room fell silent. For once, they saw me. 3 weeks later, I stood under the stone arch of Portland City Hall, uniform sharp, metal heavy, media flashing, my ops team by my side. A senior official stepped forward. This woman, once dismissed by her own family, stopped a catastrophe before it began. 80,000 lives saved. And she never asked for applause. The crowd exploded in applause. In the back, I saw them. Mom, Dad, Rebecca. No VIP seats, no press coverage, just 3 people who had tried to bury me, now watching the city celebrate what they threw away. Later that evening, Mom approached me backstage. Dinner. Just us. No tension. I looked at her. No. I returned to my office that night. Bennett Security Solutions, logo on the wall. My team inside laughing over pizza. I opened Grandpa's tin box one last time and found a folded paper I'd never noticed. Lydia, don't ever ask permission to do what's right. 6 months passed. Fall draped the city in fire-colored leaves. Our company thrived. We secured a federal grant. Nathan became our financial director. One morning, I got a handwritten letter from Mom. I feared your strength instead of honoring it. I'm sorry. I locked it in the safe not to forget, but to remember where the line was drawn. That night, Tara handed me an old bronze badge she'd found in storage. It had no rank, no title, just 5 words led with your heart. Always. I traced the metal with my fingers. For the first time, I didn't feel like I was proving anything. I was something. And no one, not Rebecca, not Mom, not even the silence of 100 locked doors could erase that. Have you ever been erased by the people you loved most? Share your story below. And if you're walking your own path of healing, subscribe. You're not alone. Your story matters.